Okay, everybody, we are on a journey. We're going to take Mr. Wilde out on the trails here on the property, and you guys are just going to come along for the visit if you want. First, we got to capture him. Hey, big guy. And take him up to go get saddled. And you can kind of see from my perspective on how I go about this, straight from catching him to riding, and how little I do now, because we talk a lot about doing groundwork. I almost always have a nice pile of hay for my horses, my horses to eat while I, saddle them, brush them, whatever I'm going to do. He was ridden just yesterday and he hasn't had time to really get dirty, so I know that he's not dirty. I don't have to worry about that. We're going to use this saddle and set today. It's all Western. And get him saddled up. This is a Silver Supreme saddle, number 2418-16. I don't know if that makes any difference to anybody, but there it is. So we're going to, hey, what's happened? There you go, buddy. Sometimes he does act a little odd when I go to saddle him still, but it's minimal. You ready for the next one? He says, I don't know, maybe. Now, some of you might say, how come you feed them? What's with the idea? Do you have to feed them to make them stay or something like that? Because I don't tie them. I never tie my horses. Do I have to feed them to make them stay? Nope. What I want is for him to have a bit of a full tummy. I'm looking at the saddle. What is this thing again? And coming through, buddy, coming through. And so what I think about more than anything is how the biology, actually we'll leave that, the biology of the horse works, in that when they have a stomach that is full, then, or relatively full, not empty, that's for sure, then what will happen is they'll be more content. They'll maybe search for food a little less. And, I won't be worried about them having an empty stomach, because if they have an empty stomach, they could feel pain, because only 2/3 of their stomach is lined, and that can cause ulcers. And when they get ulcers and they start moving around and doing stuff, then it's painful. And when it's painful, a horse can get jumpy or irritated or anxious. And when you're irritated or anxious, little things can bother you enough that it can be quite dangerous, and we don't want that. Every time I saddle this guy up, I think, I need to cut this one piece, this one stupid piece. I end up just sort of tucking it in out of the way, not that it matters, and I keep thinking, I'm gonna cut that the next time I ride. Okay, let's just snug this up one more inch or two, like so. And we'll call that done. Make sure we have some space there. A saddle that's centered. That looks good. Okay, next up is my Zal Hackamore set. Now, unfortunately, this thing got chewed on at some point on top. And this was an expensive one. It's soft and supple and It just fits really well. So it's a good one. Grab the reins over top. This on the face. Ears in carefully. Forelock sorted out. Hay out of the corner. Halter off. Almost ready to go. Let's just double check. I know where I want this to be. Hey, can I borrow your face for a second? You're good. Yeah, I know. You want to eat. Come here. God, you'd think my horses were starved, but this guy is actually a little overweight. Let me clean your eyeball. Okay, good enough. Let's get out of here. Oops. One more thing. Always wear a helmet. Okay, buddy, ready to go? I'm ready to eat as much as I can. Yeah, I know. All right, so the hay in the stomach is a really good idea. I mean, they're fed 24/7 around here. They only run out for a few hours. So he's always kind of got something in his tummy and in his gut. So he's not going to get ulcers. And he's not going to be, I mean, he's not starved. He just loves eating. Come on. Okay, off to the arena. And I don't mount from the ground. I know a lot of people do. A lot of people don't. I love mounting from a mounting block. I find it easier on me, easier on the horse. Come back, please. Thank you. Good boy. Got my reins. And then I can just place myself on pretty gently. I don't have to pull his back around or nothing. And weight him on one side and all that stuff. I have the option. I will use a mounting block or a rock or a log or whatever. Okay, let's go right. I know, I'm fiddling with my feet. Just a second. Okay, you're good. And we're off. Now, I'm riding in a hackamore, a Bozal hackamore, not a mechanical hackamore, which in my opinion is not a hackamore. And it is a very basic sort of non-leveraging, sort of one-to-one kind of headstall, essentially. And it's like a step up from a halter. Up until recently, he's been in a halter for riding, so I've upgraded him. The mechanics of a hackamore are interesting in that it does use a little bit of leverage in a way that sort of, like if the reins are attached to the bottom and the nose comes over the top here, when you pull here, accordingly it does this, right? So we have to be really careful when we go to stop. But turning sort of has it sort of twist a little bit. So it kind of, yeah, it's really, it's quite a lot of one-to-one outside of a little bit of leverage for the twist, for backing up or stopping. So it can be effective, but most of the time my reins are really actually quite loose, and I don't have to give a lot of direction or correction. And right now I'm actually just letting him choose his own path for now. He can wander around and check the place out and find all the goodies that are lying around all over the place, because I have them for, well, lots of different training, different horses. We find, essentially I make these little pastures, I guess you could say. But when I want them to come up, I'll ask, and then head up first, and then legs. Little legs. There we go. And then I'm loose. Oh, head up and legs. A little more legs. There we go. Now my legs coming in really start from my thighs. If I'm bringing my legs in, and I'm already seated in a position. Holy cow, this is noisy. I'm already seated in a position that has my energy kind of going forward. If I want to sit back and relax and just sort of come to a stop, then I'll sort of sit. You can't really see that, but see, he knows that I'm just going to sit here and my hands will be kind of relaxed. But when I sort of sit up and my hands get ready to go, that's when I say, okay, here's some legs, there's the thighs, and then my calves come in, and in the worst case scenario, I'll bring in my heels a bit, and I'll say, we need to get going, and then he will. So that's a good thing. All right. And for the most part, I'm going to let him choose a little bit. See, look, he's come completely straight. Such a good boy. Okay, a little forward, please. Thank you. And a lot of my turning actually isn't pulling. It is, we're going to hit the bridge today. Let's go over the bridge, buddy. You can do it. Come over the bridge all the time. He might not. So we'll give him an opportunity to check it out. There. No problem. Right through a spider web for me. Yeah, we're up and over. And a lot of my turning isn't really pulling. I try to definitely get away. This stuff's a little older, buddy. Let's keep going. I try to do an invite. I'll try to offer. So when I'm doing my groundwork is when I really work on this. If you guys have watched my Annie groundwork, then you'll know how I go about offering a direction. Hey, come on, buddy. You can't eat all the leaves, you know. Maybe a few. It's a lot. Right in the forest now. It's a brand new trail here. Okay, oh, go left, buddy. Don't go that way because that'll hit into the ravine and we don't want to go down there. We're going to hit this bridge. Oh, we're going to hit this bridge here. Just got to make him his way down and across. This is actually our first time. I'm going to give him some scratches and reassurance. Right? We've even stopped on the bridge. That's fantastic, to be honest. But let's keep going, buddy. Stop eating everything. So a little more legs. So right there, my calves were coming in, and then just a tiny bit of heel to just say, come on. I don't have spurs on. I've just got my boots on. I'm very basic in that regard. I don't carry any tools with me. Got my reins. In this case, because it's a Bozal hackamore, we've got this lead, which some people will use the end of this little bit here to give some taps. I don't do that. Actually, I want to go right. Sorry, I wasn't directing you much. I was talking. Can we go right, please? Okay, a little bit of legs. There we go. So I'm trying not to pull. Hackamores are made out of rawhide. So they, oh, come on. I thought you were going to scratch. They're relatively rigid. And likely don't feel too good when they're wrenched on, so I do try my hardest to not. And off we go. Let's go left. That's good. Such a beautiful day. Give them some scratches. I do enjoy giving my horses scratches while I ride, and I think that they kind of like it too. No, I don't want to go that way. I know what you're thinking. I know there's hay over there and everything. When I'm turning, I should, oh, come on, hit up. When I'm turning, I should also mention I'm giving a little bit of right leg here. So I sort of crowd his right hand side. Somebody asked me that. I can't remember who it was. And dude, stop eating everything. Get moving. I had answered in a comment, and so I thought I would just cover that one more time. In that, what I do when I want to turn. So say I want to turn left or right here. My left leg will come on a little bit, and my right hand will sort of start to veer outwards if my left leg doesn't have any impact. So what I want to be able to do is sort of ride around. So my right leg is on a little bit here, I want him think, oh, see, he did the opposite, so I have to use my hand. It's a little more. There we go. And then relax everything. Everything kind of goes into reset mode. Okay, forward, please. What are we doing? No. Okay, let's go. Okay, little leg. There. Scratch. Right? So, otherwise I'm totally neutral. But if I want to turn, and as soon as he turns, I come back to neutral. But if I want to turn, oh my God. Every time I think he's going to scratch, he reaches for a leaf. So I'm not going to let him do that anymore. Now, actually, this is a good thing to think about, is how do you get your horse to stop eating everything along the way? I'm kind of a little more relaxed than him, or than most, I think, and I sort of let them nibble on stuff along the way because it's kind of nice. It's nice to be out on the trail. They can eat a little, I ride a little. But if I really mean business, I'll watch for that head to start to go down or him to stop. Okay, legs, and go. And I'll wait for him to look like he's going to put his head down, and I will just catch it. I'll just give a tiny bump. I haven't had to do that yet. It's coming up though, I can feel it. He's thinking. It's not hard. It's just who he is. Okay, head up and legs. But my hands are pretty quiet. Now, because I'm working with him, he's pretty green. I wouldn't say he's got a lot of rides on him. Okay, legs. What's happening? Why are we going backwards? There we go. Let's go right. Let's go right. I know. There's food all over the place. You can go munch on something somewhere else. Forward. Okay, more legs. Now my heels are coming in a bit. There, and I'll pet him. See, I really appreciate that you went, because your go kind of sucked. I'd like the rest of my legs to mean something. I don't know why he keeps stopping. He must be seeing something. No, I don't see nothing. I don't see anything. So, no. And I'll also use my voice. Actually, come to think of it, I'll say no quite a bit. I'm hoping that those words mean something. He is sluggish today, I gotta say. That's okay. I want to go left. And I want to go down. So I want to go more left. So my right leg is on. A little more double legs with a left rein out. Right rein is forward. And he's thinking, I don't know, man, are you sure? There, and then go forward. Come on. Oh, good boy. Cool. Now, these rocks are here. I mean to move them around a bit so I can make a bit better of an obstacle, but for now, we'll just go to one side and travel through. So, this is kind of how I go about riding a horse, especially green ones. I'll ride a little bit wide, like a bus, so that my hand movements are really obvious, left to right, and my legs are always moving when it comes to turning. Like I'm always pressing in on one side and letting off on the other. Lift his head. It's just a slight bump with my fingers. Let's go for another round. So my right leg is on. Now both legs are on. And he's probably thinking, let's go back home. Okay, a little more leg. I'm bumping. Not a lot though. Just need him to listen. He'll go. So you can hear the movement in the saddle, because you can't see my legs. But that's sort of the rhythm. I'll just keep a steady rhythm. I'll just keep bugging him. And this is where a lot of people would drag out this end of the lead and start tapping. You know, it could be on the shoulder, it could be on the butt. But I'm okay just being a bit of a pest because I'm not in a big rush. He'd like to say no, but persistence is everything. And for horses, you kind of, you get to where when you're asking and they're asking, like he's asking to go a different direction or to not move whatsoever. And my asking, if I were to stop doing what I'm doing, then I would have wasted all the time doing what I'm doing. Does that make any sense? So once you kind of commit to doing a thing, like bumping, and it's just light, it's not much, it's just being sort of pesky. Once you commit to doing that, there's no going back. You've really got to you got to stick with it. You've got to persevere. You've got to just continue to convince them that this sign, this thing that I'm doing is for a thing. And if it was really bothering him, if he was really bothered, you'd see a different looking horse. But what we're seeing is a horse that's like, I'm going to wait it out. I'm going to wait out whatever he's doing. I'm just going to keep waiting. And maybe he'll stop. It's got flies here and there. And now he goes. And so you immediately stop doing that and scratch and provide some kind of warm comfort. Now we just relax, head up, right, and forward. And now, because I persisted, hopefully, it will mean more when I do that in the future. So the idea being that the words used, and I usually say this to the kids that I work with, I say, you know, if your parents are telling you to brush your teeth and you don't brush your teeth, and they keep telling you to brush your teeth, and then finally you brush your teeth, if your parents kept telling you to brush your teeth while you're brushing your teeth, wouldn't you be like, what the heck, I am brushing my teeth? You'd be thinking, one, it's weird, or two, does brush your teeth mean something else? So as soon as they kind of sort this out, okay, so we're back. He wants to go down the bridge. Dude, don't eat that. That's not for eating. I don't know why I left that there, to be honest. Probably take that out of here. So, don't stop. So he's determined to eat as much as he can while he's out here. And so we just continue. Some more bumps, and then he goes, and you scratch. And that is all part of training. We'd like horse riding to be super easy and not a lot of, a lot of what I'm doing is usually quite quiet. And we just sort of follow a path. And it looks good, it feels good, but there's a lot of sort of resilience and perseverance and patterns that we just sort of keep up as we go. Sorry, buddy, I want to go right. I know you want to go left. Okay, so more legs again, and it's not unusual to have to do this kind of stuff, especially for these more pokey horses that don't really want to move too much, and instead would rather just stand around. But I'm okay with it. Just keep it up. Because the other thing that I think, like, I know there's going to be some people screaming at the screen, you know, just hit them with your reins or something, or bring a crop or something like that. And for that, I always kind of say, it depends on your level of patience. I could easily ramp up. I could very easily, you know, even if I just sort of swung this around some, it just created so much more energy. You know, I could do that. Right? And that's a possibility. Or hit them, obviously. I'd rather not. I'd rather not do that because here I am still succeeding. Whereas somebody who had 15 seconds less, or even 30 seconds, or even a minute or 2 minutes less patience than me would have dealt with it differently. I just don't have that. I'd like just to let him know that I will never give up asking the things that I'm going to ask in how I ask. And he'll be okay with that. No, I don't want to go left. Let's go right. And so he learns. He learns the same way he teaches. Horses do the exact same thing when they're out playing with their buddies. They pester them, bite at their legs, or bite at the dock, or on their dock, sort of the head of the tail, top of the tail area. And they'll get another horse moving around and doing things, and they'll just be pesky enough. Sometimes they won't be painful, they won't be harsh, they'll just be really pesky enough to finally get what they want, especially the boys. I gotta admit, the boys are much more like that than the girls. He's doing a little bit of talking back here and there too. Actually, it's not just flies. Sometimes he reaches back and says, hey, stop bumping me. And I'll be like, well, hey, get moving. You know? And if it was hurting him or really bothering him, he'd pin his ears, he'd buck maybe, he'd really be troubled. You know what I will do though? I will do that same thing where I'm just going to spin this around and just create a little bit of an idea of energy. Okay, head on back. Yeah, let's go back. And those are the kind of steps that I'll take when I'm working quiet stuff. And if you get into faster or more active things, kind of is a succession of that. Everything is sensitive, so I won't really move forward until I can get this really solid, where asking for things doesn't produce as much resistance. Resistance? I don't know what the word is, but just like trying to talk to me about having a different idea or a better idea. You know, so I'll try to be fair and not give him too hard of a time, but at the same time firm, on point, and as kind as I can be, which is pretty kind, I think. He'd like to eat that grass down there, but we'll just keep on trucking along. There's lots of food waiting for him. Ronnie's coming up behind us, so he's got his ears back. There we go. And that'd be a good little ride. Very successful. You know, some good communication was made. Did lots of practice with turning. Great movement with my body and my legs. Great movement in trying to get him to go. Just get a good started walk, a go as we call it. And I really want that go to be solid. I don't want to have the trouble of, you know, pestering him. He should just get moving. And that would be a really good thing. Come on, buddy. Get up the arena. Yeah, we're not that tired. Not even sweating. But admit, I love me a good silhouette. Looks cool. So there's something to be said for having a little bit of incentive way up at the top. He knows there's some food up there. And so we're gonna make it up that way. And that's pretty close to where I'll get off. In fact, actually, when we get to the gate here, what I'm going to do is get ready for a stop. So have him come to the right. And he knows there's food there, so I'll have him stop. It's just a hold, right? And then we'll do a step back. One more. Good. 2, 3, 4. And that's light. Big scratches and forward. Legs are on. He knows to go. He knows where he wants to go. I'm going to allow him to go there. And I would call that very, very successful. And that's it.